This is episode 58 of my weekly diary, joined by my dog. This one has game highlights and training from Oxford, so I hope you enjoy. Okay, fourth time's the charm. This was West Warriors versus Brentwood Eels women, mixed with Broncos ladies development squad. We had 9 players, so it was 9v9s. We had 9 players, and they had 18, so they had plenty of subs, which was obviously a bit annoying for us, because obviously meant we couldn't have any breaks. However, I don't mind that at all, because obviously I do that every game pretty much. The only annoying bit is it was split into quarters, which you may think is good, but after, they were quite long breaks in between, which was just absolutely destroying my adrenaline, which was so annoying. But at the same time, you were hot, you wanted a drink. It was quite nice to get that. We won 60-20, which is obviously a pretty good win, considering league points are also less than union points. I think they're 4 for every try. Anyway, I managed to score a try, which I was quite happy about. However, it was from pretty far away, which I'd like to say that front row forwards should not run that much. However, I was quite happy to score a try anyway. Ended up taking down some big players. The ref, because it was a development game, the ref was very much on the West Warriors side for most of it, so some of the calls were a bit biased against us. And then the kicking rules got really weird, so obviously for a normal game, if you score a try, the other teams kick into you. But in this one, they did that at the start and then they swapped it around. So if you scored a try, then you're suddenly kicking to them, which I think is the Sevens rules. But yeah, no, I didn't like that because I like receiving the ball. Anyway, I had quite a few runs, which I was quite happy about, and a lot of the time managed to get some decent ground, so I hope you enjoy. So, I'm being joined by my dog because she wouldn't leave me alone. So, this was Monday's training session for Oxford. Took the earlier train again, just in case, because I didn't want to get there late. We ended up doing some ball skills at the start, just to get that pretty much, because we were too early, so there's not much else we could have done. So we started with that. Then we did units, which actually involved 2 more line out calls, so that's going to be fun with the many others we already have. But they're not too bad. One of them is actually really similar to one of the other ones, so it's not too much more effort. But yeah, I don't really know where she's going. This killed me a little bit because it was straight after my game. So no, not really straight after, but it was basically I had a game on Sunday and then this on Monday. So was dying a little bit. It was quite funny because after gym we did the usual kind of stuff, so it wasn't really that interesting. We went out into a training session, and at first it was bright and sunny, and I put sunscreen on because I was like, oh my god. About 20 minutes in, torrential rain. It was so bad. I was absolutely loving it because I hate the heat, but it was so bad. We were doing tackling with bags, and you ran into a person, you tackled them onto a mat, and they just went flying off the mat because how wet it was. But yeah, so that was actually pretty good. Luckily for us, it didn't last the whole session, but unluckily for the people who wore trainers because they thought it was going to be hot, were sliding around, and it was very funny. But yeah, no one got injured, nothing like that for the rain. Then we had, to be honest, it was mostly tackling, bag stuff, and then moving on to game scenarios, but with different things on each side. So we had 4 groups in total, blue bib, green bib, and then 2 teams that weren't wearing bibs. I was in one of those teams, and you went from one side of the pitch, which had one set of rules, to the other. So neither of them had like scrums or lineouts or anything like that, but they did include of either pancake, where you go on your stomach, your back, and you go back. The other one was you run to a try line after you make a touch and then run back. Making sure you had a certain amount of touches, making sure, I think one of the groups, when you got touched, you had to go on the floor but then pop off the ball, so it wasn't any kind of rucks or anything like that. Basically, quick hands, get in line fast, which honestly wasn't bad at all. That was quite nice. We had conditioning at the end, which I think was 80 metres. I'm pretty sure it was slightly... Was it bigger or smaller? Anyway, conditioning was sprint into one line, waiting for the time to go up, sprint back. Except for the time... it must have been shorter because the time was less. So you had 30 seconds to sprint to one line, wait there for 30 seconds to be up. You normally had about 5-7 seconds wait, and then you sprint back. And we did that about 8 times, and that was right at the end. For meeting, it was practically nothing. It was just like a quick little making sure we know what we're supposed to be doing, stuff like that, and any messages they wanted to tell us. But that was pretty much my day for Monday. This is going to end up being my gym video of the day, also probably one after, and hopefully I'll be able to get a few in between. But obviously this is a start, so still feeling a bit achy, so it's not going to be like a majorly heavy gym session, but it's going to like loosen me up a bit, making sure I do mobility at the end as well, and kind of getting through it. So wish me luck. This thing is evil, and I will never say otherwise. Also, I'm slightly disappointed because there was normally tackle bags up there, and I was going to try and use them at some point because there's like a 4G thing around there that I was going to try and use. But yeah, those are gone. Hoping they're coming back, but I'm not sure. Which is slightly annoying. Yeah, I've got 10 minutes in this thing to start with, and that absolutely sucks. But it's better than last time because last time I was 15. Wish me luck. Okay, I am pretty much done now. As I said before, light session, but managed to get a video of one of the things. Obviously, can't get a video of everything if not everything's interesting or in a position where I can. Currently stretching if you wonder what I'm doing. But yeah, hope you enjoy, and I'm very hot. Gym session is over and done with. It is currently spitting, which is absolutely amazing. Oh my god, it feels so nice. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. Obviously, it was a bit of a short one, but yeah, managed to get it done and stretched a whole lot at the end, which actually did help quite a lot, so that's good. So I'm on my dog walk and thought I might as well do my video about college now. So yeah, I'm really tired by the way, that's why it looks like that. Okay, so it was absolutely killer. Normally it's like, oh, it's not too bad. This one sucks. So first off, gym. The main thing I remember, because how much it sucked, was elevated squats. Now if you don't know what they are, it's body weight squats, but there's like a weight or plate like under your heel, so you'll stand on it about that big, and you have to do 100 squats, like pretty much as continuously as possible. So I did two 25s, and then I tried doing a 50 at the end, and afterwards my legs were absolutely shaking like crazy with the weight, which was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, so it's still mostly upper body. Oh, we did find something else out, that push-ups are, so for some reason I find push-ups easier when it's elevated. So me and my mate were doing like a weird challenge, and first we had it on like a little box, and we're just seeing how many push-ups we can do because it was like till failure, stuff like that, and I hate normal push-ups. But no, actually the higher my feet went, the easier I found the push-ups. But the higher it went, my mate found it harder. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah. I can hear a child screaming in the background. And then afterwards was training, which we started bringing in stuff we had last season. So we normally did like the same things at the start, like every time. It's called workshop. And it's like tackling, making sure we go over like something we've already learned and other stuff like that, making sure we're getting close. And that was pretty much it for that bit. And then we were going through line-out calls and other stuff like that, and pods, and obviously our different calls for different plays. Obviously I can't say too much about that because I don't really fancy the other team knowing, which is amazing. So yeah, we were doing those, and then at the end, before conditioning, this is how you know it's going to be hard, yeah? We didn't do the first conditioning. Normally we have 2 in a day. We only had 1. And it was start on the halfway line, bear crawl push, so you know the cylinder tackle bags, those. Bear crawl it, push it to the 22 metre, stand up instantly, start jogging to the try line, run back to wherever the bag was. Just saying, you have to get it like over the line. If you don't, you add more reps to it, which is obviously get it over the line. Push it back, and we're in teams of 3. And you're still doing bear crawl, pushing it back, and it sucked. It absolutely burned the hell out of your legs, and especially after doing so many squats. It was just an absolute killer. Originally we were supposed to be in teams of 4, but they moved it down to teams of 3 because of players, so that made it so much worse. But so my group, it was me, another second year, and a first year, but we came first, and that's all that matters. So anyway, you did it for about 10 minutes straight with like no breaks or anything, just constant like swapping around people as soon as you've done one and done another. Yeah, no, that was absolutely horrendous, but I'm glad I got it done. And afterwards my legs felt like absolute rocks, and even right now, which is the next day, I go downstairs to obviously walk my dog, and I can just feel my quads screaming at me. So it was great. At least you know you worked hard afterwards. But my god, that absolutely sucked.